Hi, Joe. Yay.
Yes.
Thanks for being here. I'm so excited to connect with you today. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely to see you and to be invited on your podcast. I'm so
Hey.
excited.
So, Joe, we talk about creatives in business, and I want to know, when did you first know that you're a creative or an artist?
That's like when I was born.
Since
No,
forever.
I think, yeah, since forever, I think creativity just, it runs in my blood. I've always been creating things from a very young age. So I think the
Mm.
artist in me was there from the very start. I just made it
Mm.
official in 2018
Yeah.
to
So
be a
let's
full-time artist.
let's talk about that journey. So you previously worked as a lecturer, and then in 2018 switched to being a full-time artist. Just talk about that in a nutshell. What is your career looked like up until now?
So let me go from the start.
Mhm.
I had art from primary school. I had art as a subject, and I actually traveled with a taxi like
Mm.
30 minutes every
Wow.
week to from Franschhoek to Paul. It's
Mm.
about 30 Ks. And then in high school I had two art subjects. So I had ceramics and I had sculpture as my matric
Mhm.
subject. And then after school, when I matriculated, I thought, no, I'm not going to go and study fine art at the university because I won't make money. You know, that struggling artist like a thing in your head. Anyway, so I found this course in Cape Town at a college, and it was all art for the film industry. So
Mm.
props fabrication, sculpting and casting, special effects makeup and prosthetics and drawing and painting, all the blood and gore in the film
Mm.
industry. So that's what I studied for 3 years. And then I worked in the film industry, and then the college actually contacted me to come and lecture
Mm.
the same course that I studied.
Wow.
And that I did that for 14 years. So yeah, it was 14 years of creativity, but not my own creativity. It was
Mm.
sort of being in service of others and
Mm.
developing young minds
Mm.
and developing their creativity and their artistic journey. But I always had this the childhood dream was
Mm.
always in the back of my mind to become a full-time artist. So in 2018, well, actually 2017, end of 2017, before maybe 3 months before the end of the year, I quit my job
Mm.
and just took a leap of faith and didn't know what it's going to be. But I thought, if I don't follow this dream and try and pursue it, I'm going to be 40 years old
Mm.
and it's going to be something that I'm never going to do. And it just went like, I don't know, one big wave of flow of creativity that came out,
Mm.
and it's still coming out. So it's the best gift that I gave myself, is to have taken that gamble of, is it going to work? I don't know anyone in the art field, in the fine art field. I mean, I
Mm.
was in the movie industry, so I knew people there, but not the fine art scene.
Mm.
So it was a scary move because no one knew me and I didn't know anyone. But that's the gist of it.
Wow, thanks for sharing. That is just incredible. I mean, I know your story, but it's really so wonderful to actually hear it again. That incredible leap and courageous step that you took to become a full-time artist. And in some way it feels like full circle,
Yeah.
connecting with that childhood dream.
Yeah.
Did the work that you did at City Varsity and before that, did that in some way prepare you for the journey of being self-employed and being a full-time artist?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Especially on the business side. I mean, I am extremely creative, but when I lectured, I had to
Mm,
use Excel spreadsheets. I had to be able to communicate on email with parents, with sponsors for our body painting show. I had to be able to order stock. I had to be able to organize, and plan.
mm,
So it was a absolute part of my journey is that 14 years of teaching, and also the the fact that I had to know myself.
mm,
I can look at those 14 years and I can remember how much of a police kind of lecturer I was in the beginning because I was actually scared. So I had this front of being a very stern lecturer, and later on as I grew older and I got to know myself, I realized, okay, actually I'm here as a supportive
mm,
role. I'm not here to be a policewoman.
mm,
It's not good for me. It's not good for because I wasn't being my authentic self. So it's not good
mm,
for me or my students.
mm.
And the relationships that I built with students as well. So all of that absolutely formed me into the role that I am in now, where I'm pursuing my own dream, but I've got the background of um, I want to say the business side, the admin side, and how to, structure your day to actually be able to do everything that you need to do.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't have had it any other way. I mean, the 14 years that I lectured also gave me this stability, the financial stability to be available for my kids. I've got
Mm.
two sons. The one is now 21 years old, and the other one is 18. So I'm free at last. Everyone is finished with school, but it gave me the freedom to leave work earlier and go and fetch them and be there for them as a mother,
Mm.
and not be working in the film industry like my husband still does,
Mm.
where the hours are just crazy, and then you at home or you on a away shoot. So yeah, for me, the 14 years of lecturing really formed everything that I am doing now.
Wow, and it's almost like you talk about different seasons, and also interesting how you bring in the journey of being a mother and how you had this time with your kids while at the same time nurturing your own creative practice. And I see that tension sometimes for young mothers who are also creatives, but
Yeah,
they're still in that space of really having to spend a lot of time with their kids, and the creativity kind of finds a space in the in between moments. How
yeah.
did
I
you
think I think I think also, I mean, now that you're commenting on that, I remember being frustrated because I had a full-time job where creativity was my job,
mm,
is being in a creative space and teaching art for the film industry, but and then being home with my kids. But there was always this frustration that I'm not doing my own work.
mm,
I did paintings. I did quite a few paintings during those 14 years of my own work, but it was a long and tedious thing because I was tired or I didn't have time. But now that I look back at it, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to be a full-time artist yet. I first
mm,
had to be available for I first had other roles to complete, and I can only see that now, in the frustration and the sort of resentment towards my husband as well, because he's having his whole career that he planned. I didn't plan on being a lecturer. I planned on working in the film industry and being in the art department, being on movies and traveling and all of this. But life shows you the path that you need to go. It's sometimes totally different than what you had in mind in your plans. And I
mm,
think that's the most important thing is to just relax
mm.
and be open to what is going to be shown to you. There's always a plan, and you can never actually see what it's going to look like. You can try and visualize something in the future. I mean, in fact, I'm sure I visualized what I have now. I have visualized when I was very young, and finally it's come. But I think I was impatient. I wanted that picture to come much earlier, but it couldn't come because I first had to do and complete certain roles as a mother and as a lecturer, helping young minds and helping them create.
Well, that's wonderful. The perspective that you get to have now when you look back on your journey. And also earlier on you mentioned that you had to get to know yourself. So there's also that inner work of who you are as a person and how that now informs your work. And I love how you said that you weren't ready, but you almost
Yeah.
get that perspective when you look back.
Yeah, and I can add on to that. Sorry to interrupt you. I
Yeah.
can add on to that. I mean, in 2015, I also got sober. I'm now 2025. I'll be 10 years recovering alcoholic.
Yay!
It'll be my 10-year anniversary. So,
Amazing.
my routine was, before I got sober, my routine was get the kids ready for school, go to work, fetch them, come back, pour a glass of wine, and cook and do everything that I need to do. But every single night I drank, not necessarily to a point of oblivion, but I couldn't function without wine. And it could be a bottle of wine or even more every single night. So, in that sense, I also first had to get rid of that fog of being an alcoholic and sober up before I could really connect to the true creative source that lies within me. I had a connection, but it was a spirit, as in alcoholic connection. Now I have a spiritual connection.
Wow.
The spirit was in the bottle, the spirit was in the bottle and not within me. And I would paint and I would think, oh, this is so fabulous. I would, drink wine and paint and be up all night. And the next morning I would look at it like, what the hell? What the hell did I do? So anyway, all of that growth as well had to happen for me to really be able to connect to a much higher power and a creative force in a very clear channel, not foggy and misty. That's fogged up with alcohol or fogged up with my own ego. So I did a lot of work with my recovery, which also, grew me in different ways or helped me in different ways to work through my own thoughts and patterns and things. So I think all of that, lecturer, mother, recovering alcoholic, all of that just sort of went to a certain pinnacle point where it just was ripe to bloom. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, and there's that sense of awareness of knowing that I have to take this leap now, and that's in some way what happened there. All like you explained, all these different facets kind of coming together, and then actually
Yeah.
taking the leap, having the courage to take the leap.
Yeah, and I think your gut, I operate with my gut with anything that I do, when it comes to art, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to anything, even if I need to go to a certain shop, and it's such a cliche, people say, yeah, follow your gut. It's absolutely what I do in anything that I do. So that moment of following my gut and saying, listen, this is now the time. I'm quitting my job. I'm not even waiting till the end of the year. This is the time. And the students were so pissed off with me because I didn't see, they were so close to me and I didn't see them through until the end of the year. They're like, Joe, you can't go now. But I knew it was now was the time. And I didn't know how. I didn't know anyway.
Wow. How do you maintain that connection to self? Intuition, connection with your gut. How do you do it now in your current work and role?
I want to give you a comparison. I want to sort of start when I want to yeah, I'll give you a visual sort of image.
Mm.
So when I started in 2018 being a full-time artist, I was extremely scared of what am I going to create and what will people think about it.
Mm.
So when I created, that was in the back of my mind. I had serious imposter syndrome, like paralyzing imposter
Mm.
syndrome, but somehow the urge to be a full-time artist overrode that for me to be able to carry on, and that the imposter syndrome didn't like consume me.
Mm.
So what I created when I started 18 was not authentic to a point where it's only from myself or from a creative place. It was more towards what people will
Mm.
like or what they will buy or all of that. Obviously, I've grown since then and realized that I don't want to do that. I want to do what I want to do.
Mm.
And I think that's where the freedom comes in, is I'm not following any recipe. I'm following just whatever comes and whatever wants to come out. That's
Mm.
what I do. And you know, if you stay true to that that way of creating, then the flow just carries on. It never stops. If you create for other people, it stops um, your own connection to the
Mm.
creative source. So that's what I do now, to keep on just being open to receive whatever needs to move through me. I'm also not an artist who does the same thing thematically.
Mm.
I like doing plants, I like doing portraits, I like doing abstract works. And
Mm.
this was something that bothered me in the beginning, to think,
Mm.
if I have to paint flowers for the rest of my life, I will die of boredom. Now you're sitting with this weighing up of um, being a full-time artist and people knowing you for a certain style,
Mm.
and then being an artist that just does whatever you want to do.
Mm.
And I have no um, need to be in a museum one day. I want to make art for the people. I want to make art for me. I want to make art for the universe. I don't want to be in a box. I actually just being a creative, I created my own manual.
Mm.
I didn't know there's no like specific set manual of these are the steps to take to become an artist, and this is what you need to do. You make it up as you go. So, and I think that's marvelous, because there's just so many possibilities. If you keep on thinking about and comparing yourself to others, that's the worst thing you can do. I only
Mm.
compare myself to myself. How did I do last year? What can I do this year? And then what can I add? Where can I find another income stream? Being creative with that as well, the business side. And for the rest, I really make what I want. I don't
Mm.
have any plug to say, no, you can't make that. People won't like it, or it's too far away from your known style. I
Mm.
don't care. I do what I want. And it's been working for me because it keeps me excited. It keeps
Mm.
me not bored. It keeps me passionate about what I'm doing. It's like you cannot be just sitting and doing the same thing unless you want to, unless you
Mm.
love doing sunflowers and you want to do sunflowers for the rest of your life,
Infinitive.
then that is your thing. But I'm not that kind of artist. I like variety. I like challenges. I like problem solving, and I like learning new things. So whenever I'm exhibiting at a group show and there's a certain theme. I love researching certain topics. So maybe it's an abstract
Mm.
show or it's something about nature, then I'll go and find info about mushrooms, or I'll find info about the ancient Greeks, like various topics. So for me, that is part of the joy, is just to keep on learning. That's the love of life. It's like know everything.
Thanks, Joe. Wow, there's so many nuggets there. I can just listen to you for hours. I love how you talk about creating your own manual, and that you create it in a way that works for you. What are your Do you have any go-to practices or weekly non-negotiables? Things that are important to you that sustain you.
Well, one thing I have learned in this sort of from 2018, is how to manage the admin, because the
Mm.
admin, people do not understand the amount of admin that's involved in being a full-time artist. You've got Excel spreadsheets, you've got emails, you've got applications to shows, applications to grants, you've got driving to the framer, driving to collect something, driving to deliver work at a gallery 40 kilometers away, at the courier, the packaging, it's never ending. So what I try and do, because those kind of things need to be done, you cannot
Mm.
avoid them. And social media, of course. I'm quite heavy on social media, and I love doing social media. It's another creative outlet for me. But all of these things eat up studio time.
Mm.
So the one thing that I've learned over time, that really helps me, is I do the admin things in the morning. So
Okay.
when I wake up and I'm in the studio, I get going on updating my inventory. If there's anything that needs to be couriered, I package it, I get order the courier, and I go through my emails and I reply to emails, I do quotes, I do invoices, all of that, so that when I'm done with what needed to be done admin wise, I am totally focused on
Mm.
my work, so that there's nothing sort of like eating away in the back of my mind. I still need to do this email. I still need to send that quote or send this invoice. I can just totally switch off and focus on having a clear connection to the creative source without any other things. It's like a meditation. When you meditate, you don't want to be thinking about things that you still need to do. You want to be in that present moment, and you want to be totally like clear headed, so that you can receive what you need to receive. And that is something that I am totally yeah, that's one practice that I do. Get the bulk of the admin gone, the admin that needs priority. And sometimes there's emails that can wait until tomorrow.
Mm.
That's also something that I've learned. I read this article, someone sent me this article, and there was a line in there, the deadly trap of efficiency. Now, when I started, or when I was a lecturer, I was extremely efficient, like to the point where I cannot go to bed until I've done everything that I need to do,
Mm.
like a perfectionist on all levels. And when I started in 2018 being a full-time artist, I think the fear of failure,
Mm.
possible failure, um, sort of gave me momentum to do everything, like email, like into the night. And at some point in the last 2 years, maybe, I realized, listen, I'm going to burn out if I don't like prioritize what is really urgent, what is less urgent, and what can wait for another 2 days. I don't have to I don't have to reply immediately. When an
Mm.
email comes in, I can wait. I can still first think about my reply, sort of word it in the back of my mind to get the right words, um, and reply when I'm ready. And there I can also follow my gut. When I'm ready and I've sort of formulated the reply in my head, okay, I'm ready now, then let's reply quickly. So yeah, that's something that's helped me because when I was in that deadly trap of efficiency, I would get no creative work done because I would just be on
Mm.
the computer to get all
Mhm.
the admin done, and it burnt out my joy. So I really structure an hour. If there's a lot of admin, maybe 2 hours in the morning, and I get what's really essentially urgent or
Mm.
necessary to do, I do that. And then I release that and I sort of move in my head, okay, now it's studio time. So, and
Mm.
the rest of the admin can wait.
Well, I love that. I think that's just so practical, and I hear this a lot in conversations how yeah, people struggle with the that prioritization as well as kind of getting stuck in the admin and then not actually having space for the creative work.
Because you know what also happens? It's a form of escape, essentially. You will stay in that admin mode because you're actually scared to start that new
Mm.
piece. That's what
So
I
true.
learned. You know, you will procrastinate in ways where it's not you procrastinating doing the dishes. You know, I do that as well. But you can bullshit yourself in a way that you're thinking, yeah, I'm so busy, like I'm busy Lizzie, but
Yeah.
you're not creating, you're getting so much done, but you're actually just running away
Mm.
from the fact that you're too scared to start that new piece.
Mm.
So I stop myself at a point. one
Mm.
hour, max 2 hours, and then I
Mm.
stop because I can go into my Excel spreadsheet of inventory and go and beautify them with colors, adding some more info on that sheet that I didn't do yet. I can carry on. I love Excel, by the way, but you can get stuck in that escape because
Mhm.
of fear. So yeah, I stop myself and just do the necessary bits, and it doesn't have to be perfect as long as I reply to people that I need to reply to and do a bit of inventory and do a bit of invoicing and quotes and all that, then I stop.
I also want to talk about social media. So I know that you're passionate about social media and also do training or involved in workshops for other artists, sort of helping artists to use social media in a positive way. And I love how you mentioned that it's also a creative outlet for you. And I think that's such a wonderful way of looking at it. So how do you fit social media into this kind of daily rhythm that you've now explored or mentioned?
I would think when I'm driving, I would get these ideas of a reel, or I would get a feeling of a song, or I'll hear a song and I'll think, oh, this would actually look so nice if I add these visuals to that song because it tells a story. Um, it's like fun. I'm thinking, what will be fun for others to see? Something funny or something peaceful or spiritual or motivation, something nice. So in the beginning, I was really scared for social media. I didn't know what to post. I didn't know when to post, what to do. But the more I did it, the more I realized the value it has. I went into the fine art scene or in the art scene without knowing a single artist, without knowing any galleries. I just started following people and looking at who they follow and who follows them and started connecting and building and building. Um, Now, I mean, the commissions that I get, the invitations to shows that I get, the magazine features, everything is from social media. It's like it's incredible. And I'm so passionate about it because I I'm frustrated with other artists because they do not understand the power that they have in their hands, and it's free.
Mm. Mm.
And I want to shake people when they say, yeah, but it takes so much time and blah, 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 all these excuses.
Mm.
You are in control of your own art career. You cannot, it's not like years ago when, if you think of, okay, you go to university, you study fine arts, you come out, you wait for a gallery to discover you, and then you get this career. It's not like that. It is totally changed, like in a totally different way. The artists are in charge of their own careers. You do not have to wait for a gallery to discover you. In fact, you wait until you're dead. And the way of making money has changed as well. It's
Mm.
not like years ago where you only sell work at a gallery and that is the only income you have. It's now different income streams. For myself, I have
Mm.
my social media workshop that I have income coming in. I've got commissions. I've got
Mm.
sales at galleries. You need all of it. You cannot just rely on a gallery. Like actually saw this post of an artist this week saying, my art career is finished. I haven't had a sale in 2 years. I haven't had a gallery sale in 2 years. And I wanted to tell him, but you cannot only rely on a gallery to sell your work. Even
Mm.
you cannot think that you go drop off your work at a gallery and then you walk away. It's a team effort of you marketing the work and the show on your side as an artist, and the gallery does the same. Then you're reaching more eyes and more possibilities for sales. But apart from that, that is going on in the background. That show, that gallery, but you have work at other galleries. You have work on your own page with that you have available at your studio.
Mm.
You've got commissions going on. You've got workshops going on. Um,
Mm.
I'm now also 2025. I've got another income stream that I've explored this year, and it's going to be some of my work on wallpaper. So whenever there's a person that discovers this and they order it, I get royalties every time that wallpaper gets ordered. So it's like setting up yourself for passive income where you've done the work and the money can just generate itself. So if you look at the whole picture, it's totally different than what
Mm.
it was of being an artist um, 20 years ago, where you only able to sell work at the gallery and that's it. I mean, we are living in a wondrous time where you are in charge of your own career. I mean, you're like your own boss. It's you don't you're not reliant on a gallery. I
Yeah.
love working with galleries because they have their own databases of clients, database of clients, but it's a totally combined effort. I have my clients, they have theirs, and together, it works. But sometimes my clients contact me directly and they just buy from me directly as well. So it's like creating your own manual for your art and creating your own manual for your business. You have to be creative on all levels.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm hearing is the freedom to allow yourself to do that. So the freedom of allowing freedom in your work, in your actual creative artwork, but then also creativity and freedom in the way that you run your business and having these multiple income streams and not getting stuck on an idea that's outdated, that doesn't actually
Yeah,
work anymore, that doesn't serve anyone really.
yeah,
And I love how you talk about I can see the joy in all of it. It's not like you only enjoy the creative work, you also enjoy the other work that's part of running a business. And I love that. I think we need that because then you're able to sustain your energy and not not feeling resentment for this admin that you now need to do and the social media, kind of enjoying the process and seeing all of it as part of it.
Absolutely. And I think this is the sort of the place where certain artists need to move. It's like they're stuck in this mud of I don't like social media, it takes too much time, all of the excuses, but it's actually just fear that's stopping them because they don't know how to work with it. They don't know how to use it to their own advantage.
Mm,
And it's just a matter of changing your attitude towards it.
mm,
If you start seeing it as a tool to connect with people that might want to buy your art, then you all of a sudden,
mm,
and another creative outlet, then you're not going to see it as another task that you don't
mm,
want to do and you hate social media and blah, blah, blah. It's like how I see it now. It's like when you're going to a gallery exhibition. Now, when you're going to, let's think of the old times. When you need to network, what would
mm,
you have done? You would have gone to gallery openings and you would network with people, maybe meet some collectors, meet the curator, meet the gallery owner, meet other artists. It's the same thing, but it's
mm,
digital. So it's extremely important for networking, like you would have done many
mm,
years ago by physically going to places. I still do that, but
mm,
the bulk of my networking happens online. And that's also through commenting, building relationships, building trust, building authority as well. So I just love every aspect of it because it's like miraculous. Here I am in South Africa, and there's people that's buying my art, and I'm shipping it to them in Canada. I mean, look, it's madness. It's total madness. And that was social media. That's nothing to do with
mm,
galleries. That's my own continuous communication with people and making them feel safe that I am a real person. I will ship your work. I won't just take your money and run. They trust me because I've been talking to them on social media for a long time. And I can tell you about so many of my clients where I've really followed them, commented on their posts, and then we started chatting on DMs
mm,
and commenting on their stories. And all of a
mm.
sudden they see something, they're like, Joe, I want that piece. Please, can I buy it?
Wow.
Okay, let's ship it. Thank you for the payment. There you go. It's arrived. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Fabulous. But I mean, this is like you need to network and you need to take charge of your own career. You cannot sit and
Mm,
wait for other people to do it for you,
mm,
like a gallery. You are in charge of your own success, and there's no police, Instagram police, art police. There's no one. You make it up. You make it up, and you do what you want to do. Like no one's going to come tell you you're doing it wrong. Whatever you do is right for you.
that's so encouraging. So Joe, yeah, I think let's wrap up our conversation. I know we can continue talking for hours.
No, no, we'll carry on for 5 hours.
I want to know if there's, I mean, if you've offered so many words of wisdom already, but if there's some advice for if there's someone listening to the show and they're in the space that you were, in 2017, 2018, wanting to take the leap, what advice would you offer for someone like that listening to the show?
I would say go for it. I
Mm,
would say go for it. Be scared. Do it anyway. That old saying, everyone knows that saying. But the best thing I can say is just be your authentic self. Do not try and be like anyone else. There's only one of you, and people want to see your work, and
mm,
you will find your people. There's always people. that like certain art. Not everyone likes my art, but you need to find your people, and to do that you need to be your authentic self. Don't try and be like anyone else. Don't try and compare yourself to anyone else, and just have certain systems in place that helps you cope with all the admin. And for the rest, enjoy the ride and be open to move. Life is organic, it needs to keep on moving.
Mm.
So don't get stuck in a certain goal or certain vision of yourself in the future. Be
Mm.
open to new opportunities that will come, that you need to be able to recognize and see where they go, because
Mm.
sometimes things come to you where you think, "Oh, I don't know if I need to do that," and then you do it, and then you meet someone new, and
Mm.
that moves into something else. So always be open to new people, always be open to new opportunities, and you'll be amazed at how everything sort of falls into place where you can't see it in the beginning. And
Mm.
if you're scared, just know that it's absolutely normal, and you will start settling in that fear. The fear will sort of dissipating. You need the fear in the beginning to
Mhm.
get momentum.
Yeah.
So fear is not a negative thing. It's actually it's a catalyst for something to move.
Mm.
So don't worry that you're fearful. Just carry on. Even if you're doing one small brushstroke a day, just take action in some small way,
Mm.
and things will start showing itself to you.
Wow. Thank you, Joe. I feel so blessed. Yeah, it's such an honor to talk to you, and I always walk away from our conversations with encouraged, you're feeling very encouraged and inspired. And I'm so grateful that I can share our conversation with others. Yeah.
I'm honored that you asked me to be one of your first interviewee. I love that. And I love you very much. And thank you so much for the invitation. It was always a joy. And as I say, we can carry on talking for hours.
We'll just
And
continue the
thank
conversation.
for the work that you are doing, also being an inspiration to others, and putting up this podcast, and following your own dreams. It's really it takes guts to create your own life, and curate your own life, and
Mm.
do it, and your own business, and do it in the way that suits you. So I applaud you, and I wish your podcast loads of success, and I'm sure it's going to be a hit.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bye.